Strange, nobody's here.
No, I was just the last one, again. Emirates Airbus A380 in business class. Well, for me, to be honest, this is the fourth flight report or aviation report of the day, actually, on this day. And I don't know where my brain is, but I'm still so grateful and so happy to be on this plane, on this flight now. And now let's check out what Emirates has on offer on their Airbus A380 in business class in 2024. And here we are in the upper deck of the Emirates Airbus A380 in business class. So this is, so to speak, a reunion with Emirates in 2024 here on Travel Think Fly, after I did quite a big series already about Emirates and Dubai, about mostly business class and first class, about all the lounges in Dubai of Emirates, and also destinations Dubai and Abu Dhabi. Now let's see how it's gonna be on this flight. In Concourse A, one floor above the boarding area for economy class, business and first class can board the giant plane directly from the lounge, and you're all alone if you show up at the last second.
I'm all by myself here. I could really dance a waltz here with my hand luggage, but they would just deport me to somewhere else, I guess. So I don't do that, but it's so chic to go to the plane just all alone.
The only thing that was even more chic was the hand luggage that was my travel partner on this flight, the aluminum carry-on Gibraltar by Level 8. Some time ago, Level 8 asked me if I wanted to test their luggage, and the quality convinced me so much that I have since left my other high-quality suitcases at home. The aluminum carry-on luggage, for example, is not only stylish and incredibly sturdy, as I said, like a safe on wheels, but it also has excellent interior features, as you find with the best brands. Alternatively, I use the carry-on Voyager, which is quite an eye-catcher, but above all offers a lot of extra space inside thanks to the handle that's built in the frame. The large Voyager follows me on this flight as checked luggage, and it's also very well equipped. The two sides have different sizes, so it also offers space for bulky items, and a handle on the front puts an end to back pain when lifting the luggage fully packed. The highlight of all Level 8 suitcases are the wheels, which makes the suitcase seem to move by itself and allow the luggage to be easily maneuvered even over rougher surfaces than here. By far the best wheels I have ever seen on a suitcase. My viewers get everything from Level 8 at an exclusive discount. If you're interested, just click on the link in the video description and enter the discount code that you see there and have fun shopping. Well, upon boarding we got greeted with a welcome drink that was a choice of orange juice, then like carrot multivitamin juice, or Veuve Clicquot, that's the champagne now today in business class, or actually nowadays in business class of Emirates. Then we got a warm wet towel, and they also handed out already the menu and the wine list. Of course we're gonna have a look at that later, like always here on Travel Think Fly. Culinary delights are a main focus. And then we got, or actually at the place they had already the socks and sleeping mask, eye mask. And if they still have the same policy, there will not be an amenity kit on this flight, on a day flight to Düsseldorf. And the whole of Europe in general, because on medium haul flights, the excellent Emirates amenity kits are only available at night and during the day on flights of over 8 hours. They have even pajamas now, but only on night flights longer than about 9 hours and during the day on flights of 11 hours and above. But for flights of 2.5 hours and above, you get slippers now, and they're really nice and comfortable.
The flight time today to Düsseldorf is about 6 hours and 35 minutes, and you can find altitude initially of 32,000 feet and climbing eventually to 40,000 feet. The weather is expected to be good most of the time for today's flight, with occasional bumps, especially in the first part of the flight.
The Airbus A380 fleet of Emirates is the biggest of all airlines worldwide by far. And it's also kind of a signature plane of Emirates, so that's for sure also the reason why they decided to stick with the Airbus A380, while some other airlines would like to say goodbye to this aircraft because of the fuel costs. It costs a lot of fuel to run this plane. Anyway, here we are quite lucky. We're in the newest version of the several versions of Airbus A380s in Emirates. Well, it's not exactly new, but it's in good shape and much more modern than the oldest version that still flies around. We are sitting here in the most special type of the Emirates A380, the one for medium-haul flights with no first class and no premium economy class, but with a total of 615 seats. More on that later. Emirates just announced that they will refurbish and redo the whole fleet. They will modernize the whole fleet to a nice modern level, and I guess they also look left and right here and see the competition, and some airlines here are really way ahead of Emirates right now. The business class on the Boeing 777 is really not competitive when you compare it with other airlines that fly around here, so it's not really the best choice. They won't show you that, of course, in their high resolution promotions, but that's how it is. A completely new cabin has been announced, but the changes will probably remain rather cosmetic. The current design will probably stay pretty much the same in the future, just slightly modernized. Or might the Airbus A350 come with a huge surprise? We'll see. So we are already airborne and still climbing. I'm sure we're gonna get some warm nuts as a start and something to drink. Let's have a look at the menu now. Let's have a look what they have on offer when it comes to culinary delights. So let's first just talk about the drinks, not just about the food. They have, of course, juices and soft drinks, and they have a vitality booster. That's a vitamin fruit cocktail, fruit juice cocktail. Then they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different mocktails. Of course, coffee and tea, and then they have cocktails, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 different cocktails, and they're all freshly mixed here at the bar. Then they have beer and wine. We have a look at the wine in a moment. Then they have all kinds of aperitifs and spirits and liquors, all the famous names and brands, of course. And then they have also some special whiskeys, for example, Chivas Regal 18-year-old, 16-year-old single malt, and then Hennessy XO. And then for lunch, we have a choice of 2 appetizers along with soup, and then 3 different choices as main courses. That's no vegetarian choice, for example. You have to order that extra before the flight. But then they have beef tenderloin, chicken, or fish makbous. And then as dessert, they have 2 different kinds of dessert and some fruit and a cheese board. Then they have also, of course, some fine chocolates in the end. But they also have the lounge here. They have the lounge bar here, and there they have also like small hors d'oeuvre, some little snacks in between, because, you know, they don't want you to starve on this flight, of course. Then there's also the wine list, and Emirates is famous for its wines because they really have their own wine cellars in France, and I think their first big investments in their wine cellars was really worth $500 million or even more for the first investment for wines in their wine cellars. So that's quite a number. And you should, if you're into wines and all these things, you really have to check out my first class report about long haul Emirates from Dubai to Toronto, and especially the first class lounge in Dubai. There they have really the most expensive and most special and rarest wines of all airlines in the world. And in the first class lounge in Dubai, I tried a wine worth $750 a bottle that was just standing there. You should really check out my first class lounge report. You're gonna love what you see. Anyway, here on board this business class flight, we have 2 white wines and 2 red wines. That's the Sauvignon Blanc and the Chablis from France, and the Sauvignon Blanc from Italy, and then they have a Bordeaux from France and a Ribera del Duero from Spain, and a 20-year-old port wine. That's actually not called a 20-year-old port, but it is in fact 20 years old. It's from 2003. The time until lunch is a little longer than I thought, which is totally okay. I'm not hungry. I just had something to eat at the lounge, and we are not here fleeing from something, so it's totally fine on this very comfortable seat. One thing I really have to say is, what is really a little annoying is that Emirates claims to be a super top airline, like the best of the best. That's always how they love to see themselves, the biggest, the greatest, the longest, the tallest. And if you claim to be that, you should be better than all the other competition. And when you look just to the neighbor, Qatar Airways is amazing. And normally, there's always exceptions, but here you don't get an amenity kit on a flight. Direct competitor Qatar Airways offers pajamas on request even during the day on the 5-hour flight from Munich to Doha, for example. But Emirates has something that is really special, and that's the bar lounge on board the A380. Qatar Airways also has one on the few A380s, and Etihad has a small self-service version of it, but both without the fun factor that Emirates has. I find it always quite difficult to say this is the best airline or that is the best airline. I think there's a couple of really good ones, and they all have some specialties. But then they have the lounge bar in the Airbus A380. Not on the Boeing 777, but the Airbus 380. That's really spectacular, and it's a real fun place. They make 12 different cocktails, and they're all freshly prepared with the best ingredients. I mean, here you have, for example, a champagne cocktail, and they use the real vintage champagne of Veuve Clicquot for the champagne cocktail, and just don't use the cheaper one for the cocktails, but they use the really nice ones. So that's really pretty impressive, and that's what's so great about Emirates. It's the seat, but it's also the lounge bar. All wines and spirits from the menu are available at the onboard bar as well, and sometimes even a little more. There's also live TV and snacks, and above all, the atmosphere is really great and fun. If you like this and the well over 100 flight and travel reports on the 2 Traversing Flight channels, then please give me a thumbs up, comment on the video, and subscribe to the channel with the little bell next to it to make sure that you don't miss out on any of the exciting videos that are released here. You'll help the channel with all its free content to grow and become more visible. Keep looking around Traversing Fly. There's for sure a few more reports that are just the right ones for you. It's so great to have you here. And it's also so nice to just sit down here on the sofa bench of the bar lounge and just enjoy a cocktail. And sometimes you get to have some really nice talks. And here you have an espresso martini. Actually, Qatar Airways does it much darker. This one is much lighter. Anyway, cheers. Now a topic that everybody's gonna be interested in. How did I book this flight and how much did it cost? I paid for the flight with miles and used a trick to avoid the insane amount of miles and additional fees that have been introduced with the unannounced devaluation of the Skywards frequent flyer program. What is mostly not advisable for other airlines is worthwhile with Emirates Skywards: upgrades. On top of that, you can also upgrade award flights, yet again with miles, which is quite rare. An award flight from Dubai to Europe costs an incredible 87,000 miles plus 415 euros in fees. An economy Flex Plus award ticket costs 30,000 miles plus 115 euros in fees. There's also a saver fare with miles, but it's not worthwhile if you're planning on an upgrade. An upgrade to business class costs another 39,000 miles, so effectively you're paying 69,000 miles and only 115 euros in fees. Upgrades may only become available at short notice or not at all, but you can cancel an Economy Flex Plus ticket also at short notice and completely free of charge. So if you don't get an upgrade, that's fine too. For connecting flights, you can also upgrade just individual legs. So upgrades are really the great strength of Skywards. But if you're willing to pay 87,000 miles plus 415 euros for business class, you'd better be off spending a few more miles, because for 15,000 more miles and the same amount of fees, you can fly first class. Another advantage of Skywards is that you can reach silver status quite fast, which gives you access to the business lounges in Dubai, which for me are among the top 3 in the world. Hallelujah, food has arrived, and this is some duck confit with salad, and then there's an extra garden salad, and then there's a section of bread, pita bread, regular bread, and the famous garlic bread. And actually the duck confit, to be honest, is not as you would get it in France. It's more like cooked duck breast or something like that, put into pieces. Otherwise it's a really very nice dish. So I'm smiling now a little bit, not because I had some alcohol, but I mean maybe also because of that, but I just tried the vintage and the regular Veuve Clicquot champagne, first world problems, and to be honest, I like the regular champagne more. Embarrassing, but that's how it is, reality TV. But actually I'm smiling now because here we have Mezze, and this is something you can really compare now in a fair way between all the airlines in the Middle East, because they all serve Mezze. Anyway, here we have the Mezze, and they're regular. I don't know if that's the right word, but maybe it is. I could imagine British Airways or Lufthansa presenting this kind of quality on a flight to Dubai, because they're not a Middle East airline. It was presented nicely by the staff, but the quality is regular. And now we're coming to the nice parts of this flight, and that is the wines of Emirates. It really paid off that Emirates invested in wine cellars and wine expertise. Here we're having a white wine that is not just a white one, but a really good one. That's a Chablis Premier Cru. Some airlines would serve this in first class, but Emirates does it in business class, and it's a really nice wine. And there the sun is setting. How about a cup of coffee? You have the opportunity now to buy me some coffee and keep me awake during my long nights editing videos at home. Buy Me a Coffee is your chance to support my work with the amount of a cup of coffee. You can buy me one or more coffees, and you can find the link in the top right of the window and in the video description. It's even easier with a super thank. You can find that directly under the video. I would be very happy because everything here is self-funded and really expensive to produce, and unfortunately tickets for the reports don't grow on trees for me either. Thank you so much for your support. now look at this. This is the cheese platter, and it's only 3 kinds of cheese, but they're all fantastic. Here, every cheese is just wonderful. With that, we have crackers, and we have a nice dried fruit bread kind of slice and some dried figs. Altogether, really, really beautiful. With our belly full of good food, it's time now for a tour of the upper deck. Normally in front of the business class cabin with its 76 seats, there's first class with 14 suites and the famous onboard shower spas. Here we are on one of only 15 A380s with only 58 business class seats and no first class at all. Instead, there's another economy cabin with 72 seats at the very front, also with practical storage by the window and quiet atmosphere well above and in front of the engines. A very rare place for economy class, but one that the airline charges pretty high reservation fees for, considering that it's still the same economy seat as it is in the rest of the plane. But what does the space look like when normally the 2 shower spas are? There's very spacious lavatories instead, and as usual, there's eau de toilette and lotion noir from the White Company. The bed here in the business class of the Emirates A380 is really quite nice. I mean, it could be much wider actually in the shoulder region if you could just lower the armrest on one of the 2 sides, because it would just give you another 10 centimeters maybe even. So that's really a chance lost. Other than that, it's quite nice. I mean, the legroom is quite good in the what I always call foot coffin, and so it can turn around without big problems. So you can really have a good flight here also overnight and have a decent sleep. They also have a light mattress that they put on the seats, so you have quite a comfortable feeling when lying down, and they have a cover that is not too thick, so you won't sweat like crazy. For example, on Qatar Airways you have in the Q suite a better foot coffin, I think. You have more space for the arms and legs, but you have an incredibly hot blanket. Really horrible. You think like you're gonna suffocate in heat. Here you don't. I've already talked about Emirates' entertainment program ICE in several episodes of this series about Emirates in Dubai. It is still by far the largest program of all airlines worldwide, with over 5,000 options, including entire seasons of popular TV series. Boredom is really out of the question, even if you had to stand here. We're descending into Düsseldorf now. How was this flight? First of all, the crew was really lovely. First of all, I thought they're a little reserved, but then actually I kind of talked to everybody here, all of the crew throughout the flight, and they turned out to be really lovely people. I really enjoyed talking to them. And then when it comes to the food and beverages, first of all, the food is really very good quality. Of course, if you compare to the best of the best, then it's not quite there. Qatar Airways is just much better. That's how it is. When it comes to beverages, Emirates really has very good selection of beverages. They don't have a big list, but what they have is good. So maybe on par of Qatar Airways, maybe a little lower, to be honest, lower than Qatar Airways. If you go on first class with Emirates, it's another story. Then when it comes to the seat, it's a very nice seat. You have a lot of space for the shoulder area. You have enough leg room to have a nice sleep. They have the mattress, so that's also very nice. What is not nice, however, is the lack of an amenity kit. When you go, for example, from Dubai to Europe on flights of up to like 7.5 hours, you don't get an amenity kit on day flights. And I think that's not okay, because I mean, people come from all kinds of time zones. Maybe in their time zone where they came from, it's the middle of the night and then you don't get an amenity kit. But what makes me most upset is just after the COVID crisis, where all the loyal customers stuck to Emirates, Emirates devaluated the Skywards program and devaluated the miles. And suddenly you would have to pay for a flight like 50% or even more miles than before. And that was just not okay. And on top of that came an enormous amount of fees and taxes that made just no sense. You have to pay already so many miles for an award ticket, and then on top of that you pay hundreds and hundreds of euros or US dollars, and that's just not okay. I was not a victim of them, but so many loyal Skywards members were, and I kind of cannot excuse that. So I'm looking forward to flying Emirates again, but I will not be a loyal customer anymore to them, because I saw how they treated their most loyal customers after the crisis. After they were such great customers, they treated them like, you know what I mean. So now I got so upset about Emirates Skywards that I missed our landing. Anyway, I hope you really enjoyed this report. I hope it helped you in your travel decisions. If yes, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. There's a really great number of airline reports waiting for you, and one of them would be this one. So check it out right away, and see you again very soon here at Travel Sing Fly.